Dearly beloved, and people who snuck in because they saw shit was going on, we are gathered here in this moment, and then the following moments until we're kicked out because we only paid for the 2 hours, to honor a human that is no longer a human, or at least he was a human, and now it's like mulch or something. I don't know, I'm not an engineer. In life they touched us all, and judging by the faces here that are dewed with tear, it was consensual. Together we gather to honor a memory and a history and to remember the gifts they gave us. And in this moment to remember, we are humbled, for we are still here, saddened to our pits, because the memory is all we have left, and it sucks, because that human isn't around anymore to do stuff with. We hope they found the light, we hope they found eternal love, and mostly we hope they died peacefully enough not to become a ghost, because we just got rid of the last one and we do not have the budget to de-phantom the place twice this month. In this moment, our hearts and minds are open to the infinite as we honor Gilbert Jeremy Gottfried. First off, it should be noted that I never met the guy. I don't know why I've actually been asked to do this. I'm a little nervous, actually, because, like, what if we found out he was a serial killer? Like, for a real one. Like, not one of those, like, I killed a guy once, I was drunk, he was a dick, I won't do it again. But, like, the kind that wears his victims. And then all the great shit we said about him would seem kind of weird, but we'd have to live with that. We didn't know he hid it so well. But I was aware of Gilbert Gottfried, because how the hell couldn't you be? He was born February 28th, 1955, in the Coney Island section of the Brooklyn borough of New York City, and somehow he became a comedian. He was raised above a hardware store, which explains why he's always yelling at us like we're in a plane and he was locked outside trying to get in. The store he lived above was run by his father and his father before him, so he knew the importance of family. And by that, I mean always questioning everything and never being satisfied with any answer. At 15 years old, he started performing stand-up in New York City. At 25, he was hired by Saturday Night Live. During that time, he gave the world Leo Waxman, David A. Stockman, Roman Polanski, and one time he played a corpse in a sketch about a stadium organist playing inappropriately at a funeral. In 1987, he and Larry David joined forces in a pilot called Norman's Corner, which through the power of those two artisans was imbued with too much anxiety to live. But it was no matter, for it was then he did Beverly Hills Cop 2 and the Howard Stern Show, and he grated his way into our hearts. And like, that's not a joke. Like, for those humans of a certain age, and by that I mean people that remember Nicktoons, Gushers, and when Weird Al had a mustache, he was the adoption agent in The Problem Child side. And then, in 1992, in an effort to find a warm-up act for Robin Williams' Genie in Disney's Aladdin, they brought him on to play Iago the Parrot. Quote, it's 40 minutes into the movie when the Genie makes his appearance. It seemed like having another comedian early on would, like, help the tone. We thought Gilbert would bring that kind of humor early on, says co-director Ron Clement. But for those of you humans that remember hypercolored t-shirts, Magic Eye posters, and when phones had cords, he was the main attraction, cut through the music, and it still makes us giggle. And it wasn't just that movie. He was on Ren and Stimpy, Beavis and Butthead, Bobby's World, Clueless, Duckman, Married with Children, Mad About You, Wings, Living Fucking Single, even Are You Afraid of the Dark? He's as intricate to that generation's upbringing as All-Star. He followed them through childhood, and he was there 3 weeks after 9/11 at the Friars Club roasted Hugh Hefner, where he told the mystical aristocrats jokes so well that no one's ever told it since. Google that at full volume at work later. Every tragedy, he had a take so unseemly Your knuckles were as white as the pearls you were clutching. He even blacklisted himself from the Oscars once for ripping on Paul Rubens. A dark day for anyone who knows what Jinkos are, and shopped at PacSun even though you never touched a skateboard. Because Gilbert Gottfried dunking on Pee-wee was like watching our parents fight. And now, years later, it's kind of fucking funny. But I didn't know Gilbert Gottfried. But like you, I'll never forget him. He was the patron saint of ripping a fart in church, or synagogue, or wherever you open your hearts and minds to the infinite. He was a character forged in the fire of the world's collective disappointment and indigestion. Blissfully happy if you didn't get something, grateful in fact, happy to live another day not knowing why the dumb shit you like was funny. All he had to do was wait until it was inappropriate, and it never failed. He was a primal crow caw that would frighten off anything that you thought was bigger than you, and he pulled jokes you wouldn't dare. In his time, the dick-swinging 80s comedy world of hitting below the Borscht Belt, he was a man among boys, and in the afterwards, he's a legend of legends. But I didn't know Gilbert Gottfried. But what I do know is that those who did know him said only of him that he was sweet, he was genuine, and he was kind. And of course he would be, because anyone who knew how to cut through the moment to remind you to laugh at yourself cared deeply that you were okay, that you were healthy, and you were happy. The rest of us, he was family. He was the one you would hope would come to the party. It is said of people that some are like light in the darkness. Gilbert Gottfried was an air raid siren. And when you heard it, you knew that help was on the way. It is customary in eulogies, or funeral roasts, as I think they should be called, to reflect on our own mortality in the wake of someone who meant something to us. And in our times these days, or any days really, but especially right now, because it's been a real punt in the ass of a biennium, we really need someone who can crack the tension, throw a pie, break it up a little, so it's on us now, I guess. We're just going to need to be a little louder. Raise your glass to Gilbert. I love you. Good night.